12-2, frequency tables, line plots, and histograms. Our objective today is to display data in frequency tables, line plots, and histograms. Basically, we want to show information in a visual way, so it's easier to digest and quicker to read. First thing we have are frequency tables. They list each data item with the number of times it occurs. A line plot displays data with X marks above a number line. And a histogram shows the frequency of data items as a graph. The data are often grouped into intervals, and the intervals are of equal size. So, first thing we need to do is organize the data. You have a group of numbers, you want to put it into something that's easy to understand. So if we start with the line plot, do a number line, basically showing the numbers that you see displayed there. And you can also do the same for a frequency table. What numbers do you see? So I have a 5, so for the line plot where I have 5, I'll put an X. And then for 6, I'll put an X. And then I keep going along, and everywhere I see a 7, I'll put an X. And at 8, I'll put an X, and I keep going, making my little X's as I go along, making sure I get each number. And in a way, it kind of looks like a bar graph, but it might be a little bit quicker, a little easier to do. So at the end, you have something that looks like that, and you can see the most numbers the number that occurred the most often was 6, followed by 7, and the number that occurred the least is pretty easy to see, it's 4. With a frequency table, histogram. So with the histogram, we'll do a graph, and we've got the data numbers. Notice I did them in intervals of 2, grouping them by 4 and 5, 6 and 7, and 8 and 9. And then how many times they occurred. And my first bar for 4 and 5 was a total of 3. 6 and 7 had a lot, 10. And then 8 and 9 had 7. So that's a histogram, kind of a type of bar graph. If we go back to the frequency table, we're going to make little dash marks for each number as we go along. And you can see that this is something that, little tally marks that you've done before. You may not have called it a frequency table, but that's what you're doing. And we're going along. It's always kind of helpful to group them in groups of 5. So you make 4 lines and then cross the 4 out to show that that's a set of 5. Makes it easier to read. And then you've got your frequency table. Okay. This is the result of 12 batteries of the same type are shown. Testing 12 batteries. Use the data to make a frequency table, a line plot, and a histogram. So set up your frequency table using these numbers, and would you plug them in? So if you do so, you'll get this. Now, having done that, would you create a line plot and a histogram based on the information that we got from the frequency table? Remember, on the histogram, basically the bar graph, you're going to use these intervals, 9 to 11, 12 to 14, 15 to 17, 18 to 20, and then 21 to 23. So at this point, pause the video And would you try to set up a line plot and histogram for this data? Okay, hopefully you did that. Let's take a look at the line plot. And we'll plug those in and we should have something like that. If you did it by single digits, that's fine. Yours will look a little different. And then our histogram. Will look like this. There's our first bar, second bar, third bar, fourth, and the last bar. So hopefully you got something that looks like that. Now I'd like you to try to do a frequency table, a line plot, and a histogram for this information. And I'll give you the so you can set this up for your frequency table. And would you go ahead and try to set this up, pause the video, and when you're done, or if you get stuck, go ahead and come back to the video. Okay. So I'm doing my frequency plot. And next I'll do my line plot. I think it said frequency plot. I should have said frequency table. So I do my line plot, and it will look something like that. Not real exciting. And for the histogram, I broke it up into this: 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and I numbered it. How many times each occurred? There's my first one, second, and third. Very boring histogram. Not a whole lot there. It doesn't give you a whole lot of information, except everything occurred basically the same amount. And that's it. If you have any questions, you can post them on Edmodo, or you can ask them in class. Thank you very much.